Hello everyone and welcome to Recruitment Champion Training. My name is Jennifer McGowan and I'm the Council Recruitment and Placement Director. Also here with me is Kim Lincoln, the Council Recruitment Manager.
Hello everyone.
So thank you for taking time today to complete the training, and of course thank you for all you do to support the girls and volunteers of GSCCC. So we can expect that this training will last about an hour. Naturally you'll have questions as we go through the training. We'll probably cover them. But if we don't, you can email Kim Lincoln at kiml@gsccc.org. You can expect at the end of this training, you'll have all the skills and tools needed to work with staff and a team of volunteers to plan and host recruitment events in your service unit. So I'm going to say ding every time I want Kim to switch screens, so ding. Let's talk about our learning objectives. So at the end of the session, participants will be able to, 1, build a team of volunteers to help you lead recruitment events. You're not in this alone. Research, plan, and successfully host recruitment events. You'll get help with that too. Promote the experience of Girl Scouting to all the girls in your area. Ding! As the recruitment champion of your service unit, you have some responsibilities. You will help plan for recruitment events, parent information nights in your service unit, along with the council recruitment specialist. You'll organize the delivery of flyers to the schools. You'll organize the open houses in your service unit to ensure everyone is covered. You'll help market Girl Scouts in the local community. You'll assist the school liaisons in establishing good relationships with the school staff. You'll assist girls as they lead school-wide recruitment events. No one recruits as well as our girls. And you'll attend service unit meetings. The recruitment champion is one of the most impactful roles as a Girl Scout volunteer. Teamwork and successful planning are critical. Be sure to collaborate with other service unit volunteer support team members and your council recruitment specialist. We recruit because we follow in Juliet Gordon Lowe's footsteps back on March 12, 1912. So Juliet believed that all girls should be given the opportunity to develop physically, mentally, and spiritually in a girl-centered organization. Girls were recruited or invited to join Girl Scouts by a friend, by a neighbor, or through a poster or flyer in their school or church. So not much has changed since Juliet's days. Recruitment events are a prime opportunity to bring new girls and volunteers into Girl Scouts. The purpose of recruitment events are as follows. We want to ensure that every girl is extended an invitation to join Girl Scouts. We want to enroll new girls into new and existing troops to ensure longevity for the service unit. We want to make sure you guys have a healthy group of girls that we can continue for many, many years. So we also want to enlist parent and caregiver participation as volunteers. We don't want to just have our leaders. We want to make sure the parents and caregivers are involved as well. Ding! Okay, so you're going to work closely with your council recruitment specialist to plan and execute recruitment events and activities to ensure that all interested girls and adults have the opportunity to be Girl Scouts year-round. Recruiting new girls and adults will happen throughout the year. So, August through November, that's our back-to-school push. We'll start new troops and we'll add to existing troops. So any troops that have openings, you'll want to know about those and keep those handy for your recruitment nights. And we'll want to start some new troops. In November and December, we're getting ready for cookies. And we want to make sure that we've got to add our new girls to new and existing troops in time for the cookie program in January. So we want to make sure that they're in and established with a troop and they get their training before the cookie program starts. So after that, we start into winter. So in January through March, we're still starting new troops and we're still adding to existing troops. When we get to spring, April and May, we start talking about our daisies, who are going to be starting with us in the following October, and camp. So we're going to recruit for new daisy startups, Girl Sprouts, which is a new program for our council. We just started that last year, and we're going to recruit for camp. When we get to summertime, we're going to be recruiting for the following year. So partner with recruitment specialists and service unit volunteer support team to plan recruitment opportunities at community and school events. And then the cycle starts all over again. Ding! So we've got 7 important steps for a great recruitment event. We're going to set goals. So we want to know how many girls girls and adults that we think will get at the event. We'll want to define the event. So is it a recruitment or is it a visibility event? We'll want to make a plan. We want to market the event. No sense having an event if no one shows up, right? We'll talk about planning for the day of the event, what we'll do after the event, and what our backup plan is should the event not happen. Let's take a deeper dive into each of these important steps. Ding! All right, step 1, setting goals. Examine the current state of your Girl Scouts in your service unit by talking with your council recruitment specialist. Get the data so that you can make the best possible plan given the time and resources you have. So you're going to answer the following questions. What schools are in your service unit? In which schools are there existing troops? What grade levels are in these troops? Is the school administration supportive and aware of the Girl Scout troops? Talk to your school liaison about that. He or she will know that. Are the current troops willing to accept new girls? Your placement coordinator can help with that part. So you'll come prepared to a recruitment event to answer questions about existing troop availability. This will help determine if the new girls can be placed or if new leaders are needed. Be sure to have a conversation with your recruitment specialist and placement coordinator to be sure that you have the most accurate information. All right, let's move on to step 2. You know your community and your schools better than anyone. Spend time researching possible opportunities to tell families about Girl Scouts. Let's talk about the difference between a visibility event and a recruitment event. So, a visibility event is a previously established event that we're invited to partner with. So it's not something that we set up. Families don't necessarily come to these events looking to join Girl Scouts, but it's a great opportunity to get in front of families. Work with your school liaisons for a school events calendar of dates and ask them to help secure a table or booth at school events. A visibility event might also be an event in the community. We'll talk more about those in just a few minutes. Okay, so we talked about what a visibility event is. Let's talk about what a recruitment event is. A recruitment event is set up for parent and caregiver information nights at the schools in your service unit. We usually call these information nights. Details about information nights are included in flyers that may get distributed to multiple schools. These information nights are set up just for Girl Scouts and not tied to another event. Parents and caregivers learn about Girl Scouts while the girls participate in a separate Girl Scout activity. There may be parents, caregivers, and girls from multiple schools. Ding! Okay, so we've got 2 types of visibility events. We've got school events, so after-school programs might include an open house, meet and greet teacher nights, PTA meetings, school festivals and carnivals. Before school, you might have a muffins with mom or donuts with dad or grandparents' day. During school, you might be able to do something called a lunch bunch. So with the other kinds of community events, we have festivals, military family events, community partner events, and neighborhood events. So let's talk about school events. Find out when your schools have opportunities to promote Girl Scouts. These may happen before school, during the school day, or after school. Ask the school administration office if you could set up a table or a booth to promote Girl Scouts. This is where you may decide to tap into your team of recruiters and older girl troops. Like I said, older girls are our very best recruiters. You may have to request assistance at these events, as most are likely to be held first thing in the morning or during the day, and you may not be able to cover all the events, especially if you work outside the home. So this is where your team, having a team is very important. You may be able to host a rally, which is a gathering of girls to get them excited about Scouts and your upcoming recruitment event, or a lunch bunch. And that's just a rally during lunch hours where you get to hand out information about the upcoming recruitment event. The goal is to get the girl excited about an upcoming recruitment event. So we want her to go home, tell mom, hey, this lady from Girl Scouts came by at lunch and talked to me, and I got this cool pencil or bracelet, and now I really, 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 really want to go tonight. So we want to encourage the girls to get excited and go home and talk to mom and dad about it. So the other kind of event are community events. You may be asked to help cover an event in the community that the council recruitment team has been invited to promote Girl Scouts. Some of those might be Chesapeake Jubilee, the Children's Festival, Suffolk Peanut Festival, Earth Day, the Air Show. Kim, what am I forgetting? What do we have coming up? We have Neptune Festival. Yeah.
International Children's Festivals, Just anything that's in the community that where we could have a table. So most of them are types of festivals.
So with those kind of events, you might have parents stop by because they're there anyway. They're there to have fun with their kids. So the parents and caregivers may come by at any time during the hours of the event just to find out more about Girl Scouts. We usually have an activity for them to do. Sometimes we play Plinko. Sometimes we have, what else do we have? We have spinning wheels and they get prizes. Cornhole boards, whatever. And sometimes the festivals will tell us that they need us to do a particular activity with the kids, and we'll supply that as well. So it's not something you have to take care of, but we do need your help at those events. Okay, ding. Okay, let's talk about recruitment events. So these are set up to promote Girl Scouts. There's nothing else going on that night. People are coming specifically because they're interested in Girl Scouts for their child. They're usually held in the evening at a school or a nearby location. Not all of our schools let us in, so sometimes we'll schedule it at a library. Where else might we schedule it?
A church,
yeah,
a community building, a recreation center, any types of buildings that will allow us to have space to be able to have Girl Scout information nights there.
Right, and so your school liaison will be knowledgeable about that. They'll know if their school is Girl Scout friendly and able to host us or not, and hopefully your school liaison will know about nearby locations that you could tap into in case the school doesn't allow us there. So details about the information nights are included on flyers that may get distributed to multiple schools. Parents and caregivers learn about the Girl Scouts while the girls participate in the school activity. We've covered this already. So when we say may get distributed, it's because not all schools allow distribution of flyers. And some schools are on a system called Peach Jar. So I'm going to let Kim explain Peach Jar a little bit.
So Peach Jar is an electronic web program that schools are utilizing to send information home to the parents. So the school systems that are on Peach Jar currently are Suffolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, and Williamsburg. So those are the school systems that are using Peach Jar. The other system, the other school district that has an electronic way of sending things home to the parents is also Yorktown. They don't use Peach Jar, but they have their own system, but it's all electronic. So in those instances, we post the flyer and then it gets sent out to the parents through an email system.
So we love recruitment events because if somebody's come to a recruitment event, it's highly likely that their daughter is really going to join Girl Scouts. When we're out at visibility events, maybe 50% of the people who come visit us will actually become Girl Scouts, but you've got a pretty high success rate with those recruitment events. So, all right, ding. All right, let's talk about making a plan, step 3. So partner with your council recruitment specialist to brainstorm locations for recruitment events. Some of those might include, we talked about this a little bit, a school gym, the library, the cafeteria, public library, church, community center. Even our Girl Scout properties are available if you happen to have one in your service unit. Even when we didn't mention earlier was like large subdivisions might have like a, what do they call them, like a rec house or something, I'm drawing a blank, but you know, the community centers that are at the large subdivisions, those might be great locations. Anywhere where the kids can get to easily. So reserve a space allowing 1 hour before your event, 1 hour for the event, and 1 hour after the event. Check with your recruitment specialist if you're incurring a fee for the recruitment, as ideally we want our recruitment spaces at no cost. Make arrangements for entry the day of the recruitment if necessary. So you might need to pick up a key or a code or something like that. Make sure we have that secured ahead of time. So think about, will you need any special equipment? Do you need a microphone, table, chairs? If so, check with us. We have equipment that's available for these, and we want to make sure we get it to you ahead of time. So you'll also want to recruit other leaders, volunteers, and older girls who can assist the night of the recruitment. So at a recruitment, remember, one group of people is going to be talking to the parents, and one group of people is going to be working with the girls. So older girl troops are amazing for that. So when I say older girl, I'm not necessarily talking about seniors and ambassadors. It could be juniors or cadets as well. Even a group of brownies can help you out, depending on how much parental support they have. So we'll want to find out any information about previous recruitments at that location. So find out what schools have few Girl Scouts and get the marketing information from your recruitment specialist. So for example, you might find out that at that location they registered 7 girls in the fall of 2016. We're going to try to register 10 for 2017. So you have to set your goal. All right, ding. All right, step 4, let's market the event. Your council recruitment specialist will work with you to have flyers created and printed for your recruitment events. Flyers are normally given to the office staff for at least 2 weeks in advance of the first recruitment listed on the flyer. Sometimes there's more than one recruitment listed on the flyer. Your recruitment specialist may ask you to deliver the flyers, or she may deliver them herself. Your school liaisons can also help with this task. So if you can't flyer, work with the school liaison to ask if the recruitment event can be advertised in the school newsletter, on the school marquee, the website, or the PTA news site. Find out if you can post a joint Girl Scout sign a few days before the actual recruitment near the entrance to the school so the parents see them as they're bringing kids and picking them up from school. Any advertisement is awesome. So, where in the community could we distribute flyers besides the schools? Extra flyers can be distributed to community places. So some of those locations might include libraries, banks, churches, grocery stores, the YMCA or YWCA, doctor's offices, daycares with after-school care. You might even hang one at Starbucks. So dance studios, anywhere where girls gather or where their families might be. So restaurants are great. I'm going to repeat Starbucks because they have a community board. So
Panera does too.
Panera is a good one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anywhere else, but yeah, anywhere where there's an open community board, you can throw up one of those flyers and let people know that we're coming.
In some instances, I know that some people have community Facebook pages, and they have been able to post the flyer, and we can supply you the flyer in a PDF form so that you can use it for social media. So that's another way to get the word out to the communities as well. If there's a community Facebook page or something like that, that's another great way.
Oh, that's awesome. So that might be something like in my neighborhood, we have next door Bird Neck Lake, or we also have a separate web page. So a lot of those are out there, and those are great places to let folks know that you have recruitment coming up. All right, ding. All right, what are we doing on the day of the event? Well, let's see. On the day of the recruitment, wear a Girl Scout t-shirt or polo shirt. If you don't have a Girl Scout shirt ready to wear, remember to put on your Girl Scout pins. A woman or a girl is always in uniform as long as she has her pins on. So arrive about up to an hour early before the event to schedule to begin to make sure you're prepared when people start arriving. People tend to come a little early. So you'll definitely have people who will be 30 minutes early, and you'll have some that'll be 30 minutes late. So be prepared for both scenarios.
Here's another quick tip too, is on the day of the event, call the place where you're going to be holding your recruitment and just confirm that they remember that you're coming, so that they can make sure that they are there to let you in the building if that's the case.
Yeah, always a day ahead of time would be even better, but make sure that you can get in. Nothing worse than showing up and you can't get in and you've got a crowd of folks. So, okay, so at the event, present a positive attitude. Look people in the eye, keep your hands out of your pockets, keep your arms open, and smile. Put your brownie smile on, right? Use 1 or 2 volunteers to greet and steer visitors to where they need to be. Have someone greet the girls and take them to the area where they will be. You want to keep them somewhat separate from the parents. Maybe not totally separate, depending on the age of the children. You might want them to be able to see the parents, but you want to be able to have them in a separate area. Have your parents and caregivers sign in so that you have a record of their needs and contact information for follow-up. So we'll provide you with sign-in sheets in the recruitment kits. So have parents and caregivers sit at grade levels. Have a list of roles needed to run a troop at each grade level table. Parents and caregivers can read the list over while they're waiting to start. We'll provide you with those as well. So we'll have table tents to put on your table that are grade level specific so they know where to sit. And we'll also have a list of troop roles and the description for each of those roles so people can kind of take a look at that while they're waiting and decide what they might be interested in doing. Let everyone know what will happen during the meeting. Share the agenda with them to start. Use a technique we call ANOT. Appreciation, naturally, obviously, and typically. That may sound familiar because we used it at the beginning of this presentation. So that is used to establish an upfront contract. So with appreciation, you want to thank everyone for coming. Open your presentation by telling everyone how long the meeting is planned for. For example, I appreciate you all coming out tonight. This meeting is planned for 1 hour. Does anyone need to leave early? That's good knowledge to have, right? This N in A0 is naturally the prospect's agenda. You will probably have some questions during the meeting about Girl Scouts, how the troops are formed, how the meetings are conducted, what roles the girls and adults are playing in the meetings. So say something like that because you'll want to let them know, hey, I know you've got questions. The O in A0 is obviously. So that's your agenda. Say something like, I'd like to find out more about what you're hoping Girl Scouts can help you and your children with, what kinds of activities you feel passionate about, and what is important to you when it comes time to decide on whether or not Girl Scouts is a fit. So the T in A0 is typically. Say something like, I will need to ask you some questions and would like to cover some of the common questions that get brought up in these types of meetings. So it's kind of an FAQ session or questions at the end. So follow your script. We'll provide that to you as well. Present your communication points and answer questions. Don't sell features and benefits. This is called spilling your candy in the lobby, which is really giving them more information than they probably need at this point in their decision-making process about Girl Scouts. Most parents already know that Girl Scouts is a fantastic organization. They showed up tonight. That means that they're interested, right? So engage your customers by asking them questions. You always want to ask a follow-up question and make sure that you are actually answering what they've asked. So you want to ask things like, hey, has anyone been in Girl Scouts growing up? And you'll probably see a significant portion of the room raise their hand. People will say, well, he did it for 1 year. And so I usually say, once a Girl Scout, always a Girl Scout. And then I encourage them to join with their daughter. You might say, has anyone gone camping? You get some people who enthusiastically throw up their hands, and you'll get some people who are like, not so into camping. That's okay. It's really okay. You'll maybe ask them, do you want your girls to develop courage, confidence, and character while learning to lead? Most people are going to say yes to that. So use your visual displays, again, we'll give you those too, to give parents, caregivers, and girls a sense of what girls do in Girl Scouting. Your presentation will also show that, and we'll show you that to you in just a few minutes here. So stress the need for adult volunteers and discuss the positions and time commitments. So that will be on the paper that we're going to give you to put on the table. So not only does it give the descriptions for each of the troop positions, it also gives an approximate number of hours someone can expect to spend on that position each month. And that's important for folks to know, what am I getting into and how much time is this going to take? All right, provide parents and caregivers with information to register online using the online registration system. Ding! All right, let's talk about leadership, because that's what we're all about in Girl Scouts, right? So everyone who attends a recruitment event probably already knows something about Girl Scouts. You need to concentrate on recruiting leaders to be able to offer Girl Scouts to more girls. Say something like, we want to provide an opportunity for every girl to be in an active, thriving troop. This is only possible through recruiting strong volunteers first. We need troops for girls to join. Come to the recruitment prepared with the current need for leaders. For example, you may have 25 second grade girls on the wait list. That would mean you want to recruit Girl Scout Brownie leaders. Have a goal in mind and try to reach that goal. So here's a few tips. Have a conversation with each person expressing interest in volunteering. Let the parent or caregiver talk first. You want to find out what his or her needs are and what they're looking for from Girl Scouts. Again, ask questions to clarify what they're asking. Don't just answer what you think they're asking. I know that sounds strange, but you want to make sure you're not answering the unasked question. So, or spilling your candy in the lobby like we talked about earlier. You want to make sure that you're just answering what they're asking about. All right. Talk about the options for volunteering. So not everybody has to be a troop leader. A lot of people who have been out of Girl Scouts for a while or not involved with Girl Scouts assume that you have to be a troop leader to be a Girl Scout volunteer, and that's not true. You could be a cookie chair, you could be a finance chair for the troop, you could take care of fall products, you could be a troop helper. Sometimes the troop helper drives, sometimes they chaperone events. All of that's outlined on the paper that we're going to give you to put out during your recruitment. So if they're hesitant to lead, ask questions that will help you determine why they're hesitant. Don't pressure someone to lead. She or he may need time to think about it, or it might not be a right fit for him or her. You want to stay behind their level of enthusiasm. Don't get too excited when they say that they're interested in leading your troop. You might scare them off, and we don't want to do that. We always say our second favorite answer is no, because we don't want someone to be pressured into this, get into it, and realize that it's not for them, and then you've got a group of girls who are in need of a new leader. So if someone's not feeling confident about it or giving you signals that maybe this isn't for them, that's okay. It's okay for them to say no.
This part of the recruitment phase is really important, why you need to have more than one person there helping, because while one person can concentrate and talk to the volunteers who are showing interest in leading, there can be another person that's helping those parents that aren't interested in leading and getting their girls registered, because even though it's online, they may need help with that online process. So it's very good to have at least two people that are there talking to the parents.
A really good point, because you could get a parent or a potential volunteer who has 1,000,001 questions, and you don't want to blow them off. You don't want them to feel not valued, so you want to answer their questions, but you also don't want to ignore everybody else who might have 2 questions. So the more adults you have there, the more knowledgeable adults, preferably folks maybe from your service unit team, who can answer those questions, the better your recruitment's going to go. And then, like I said, like Kim said, just having folks available to help people just get registered. The people who showed up were like, yeah, I'm not going to be a leader. I want to register my girl, and then we got to go home. But you've also got the people who walked in knowing they were going to be a leader, help them get their troop started. You need somebody else who's going to do that too. So the more folks, the better. All right. So ding. All right. So we are going to show you a video of Kim here. So if you don't know Kim, now you know Kim's face. And we're going to show you what a typical recruitment presentation might look like.
Hello. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Kim Lincoln, and I work for the Girl Scouts, and I'm sure that a lot of you are here to find out information about how to get your daughter started in Girl Scouting. I just want to ask, how many of you were Girl Scouts before? Great, that's what I like to see. We're going to talk about what we're going to go over today. So naturally, you're here tonight to learn more about Girl Scouts. We've got about an hour set aside. So I'm going to talk about for about 30 minutes, and then obviously you're going to have questions. So we're going to take that time for you to ask questions, and then at the end, we're going to help you get your daughter registered and how to find a troop. So basically what we're going to do is go over why to join Girl Scouts and how often and where troops meet, the level of parent involvement expected, how much it costs, and volunteer opportunities. Did I miss anything right off the bat that you'd like me to cover? No? Great. Let's get started knowing that you will ultimately make the decision if this is the right organization for you and your family. So why join Girl Scouts? Would anybody be willing to share some of the things you would like your girl to get out of Girl Scouting? Thanks. As you can see, our program offers a lot of really unique opportunities for girls. So here's what to expect as part of a troop. Troops generally meet 2 to 4 times a month, sometimes with an additional outing. Girl Scouts is for girls by girls. It's a girl-led model. Girls work with their trusted adults to plan and carry out their Girl Scout experience. Are there any questions on what you can expect as a Girl Scout parent? Wonderful. So one of the other top questions that I get is about how much Girl Scouts cost. So let's talk about that. Membership for the year is $25. Additional costs might include her vest, sash, and insignias, which average around $35. Each troop sets their own dues. They are generally between $5 to $6 per month. Eventually, troops become self-sufficient through cookie sales to eliminate the need for dues. So we've talked about costs. Let's talk talk about starting a new troop. What do we need to start a new troop? Some of you came tonight knowing that you wanted to be a Girl Scout leader. Don't panic. We understand that being a troop leader is not for everyone. To start a troop, we need to get all of the parents involved. You can decide how you will fit into Girl Scouts. A troop requires troop leadership. That leadership is made up by a troop committee of a program delivery person, an administrative person, a troop treasurer, and a product sales coordinator. This way, all the responsibilities don't just fall on one or two people. It is a group effort concept. The best run troops are those that have involved parents. Who here is interested in a leadership position on a committee? Great, I'm glad we got lots of people ready to sign up and we're going to start troops tonight. Are there any other questions that I might not have covered? Great, thank you. Now we're going to start to we're going to start to get the girls registered. So if you all pull out your smartphones, I'm going to tell you the first step to get her registered. So we're going to click on www.gsccc.org. You're going to type that in first, and then you're going to click on the Join Now button, and you'll follow the steps along. I'll be around to help everyone if they get stuck. Thank you.
Okay, good job, Kim. So it's kind of awkward doing it without an audience, but you get the idea. So we're going to go over the presentation and make sure we covered everything. So our goal is to engage prospective volunteers and exchange information with them in an honest, organized, and non-manipulative manner. You cannot sell anybody anything. They must discover they want it. During your talk, focus on leading troops and the benefits of leading a troop. Make it sound like something that parents and caregivers would want to do. So you'll notice we did a few things, or Kim did a few things. She used ANOT. She didn't spill her candy. She didn't provide every little piece of information about Girl Scouts. She touched on all the communication points, and she answered all the questions. Well, she didn't have anybody there to answer questions, but you'll have people who have questions, and you'll answer those. So, ding. Let's talk about rejection, because not everybody's going to want to do it, and that's okay. So there's two possible outcomes after a recruitment event. Number one, it's not a fit. They're comfortable saying no. We may find that this opportunity we have in mind may not be a fit for you, and that is surely okay. We're not the right fit in all cases. That's probably the rare response, but it does happen, and just be prepared for it. So our second answer might be, yes, it's a fit. What are my next steps? So on the other hand, we might find that this is something that you value and would like to be involved in. If so, we can work together in getting you involved in the organization. Receiving a no from a parent or caregiver is okay. Not everyone is the right fit for Girl Scouts. So, some tips to remember when you receive a no. Consider the nature of the objection. Is there another volunteer position they might be better suited for? So talk to them about other options. Let the parent or caregiver know that if he or she changes their mind in the future about leading or helping out in the troop, to let you know. They might get into it, see what's going on in the girls' troop, and say, you know what, I do want to be involved. So discuss the options for a girl if we don't have an open troop in their area. So when they're filling out their online registration, there's a radius that you can put in that lets you know, I'm willing to drive 0 miles. I want something right next door to me. Or I'm willing to drive 5 miles or 10 miles. You can open up that radius. We're going to go over that in a few minutes to show you what their options are. Okay. It's better for a person who's not interested or cannot spend the time in leading a troop to say no than to have her say yes and regret her decision later on. No is absolutely okay. Like I said earlier, no is our second favorite answer. So we're going to practice a few questions. So let's see. I think we'll take turns with this. I'll do the first one, and then Kim will do the next one, if that's all right. Okay. So let's see. Our first question. I thought I was coming here tonight to sign my daughter up for an existing troop. Why can't she go into an existing troop? Well, a possible response might be, many of our existing troops started just like tonight and have expanded to capacity. Starting new troops in this format with girls who know each other at their schools works the best.
Next question might be, why don't you have enough volunteers? I don't have time to be a volunteer. A possible response would be, just like other volunteer organizations, we do not have the volume of adults needed to meet the demand. That's why we need committed volunteers to be mentors and lead a group of girls. Many of our volunteers work full-time and lead busy lives. That is why it is important for most parents and caregivers to help the troop in some way. Volunteering in your daughter's troop allows you to take the time to know your daughter and her friends and to possibly influence their future. Without the support of our parents, caregivers, and volunteers, Girl Scouts would not exist.
Okay. Another one might be, I may be interested in volunteering, but I wasn't in Girl Scouts growing up. Well, possible response. In order to be a Girl Scout leader, you do not need to have been a Girl Scout growing up as a girl. Our new digital resource, the Volunteer Toolkit, provides resources to run a troop meeting, whether the girls are working on their petals, badges, or journeys.
This might be a statement that someone might make. I have 4 other children under the age of 8. There is no way I can volunteer unless I can bring them. A possible response could be, Girl Scouting is a program for girls, and it is important for volunteers to be able to focus on working with the girls in the troop. If you are unable to come to the meetings, there are other ways you can get involved. You can be the treasurer for the troop, or a contact person for trips, or even help communicate what's coming up to the other families.
So here's one we get all the time. I work full time. So, possible responses. Most of our troop leaders work too. Meetings don't have to be right after school. They can be at night or even on the weekends. You, as a troop leader, will decide when to hold your meeting. Don't think of Girl Scouts as a second job. Think of it as a fun way to be with your daughter.
Another statement that we get is, I'll think about it. And a possible response could say, I understand. However, we don't want the girls to wait too long. They are excited and we want the troop to get started as soon as possible. Let me know if you have any other questions that I can answer for you. Talk to your daughter's friends, moms, your co-workers, neighbors, or women at church, and see if any of them would like to be your co-leader. I understand. Would you like to visit a troop meeting while you are thinking about it? So those are 3 different possible responses to that statement.
Okay, here's another one we get all the time. I hate camping. Okay, that's all right. Good news. We don't have any rules that say you must camp. Every troop gets to decide what they want to do. If the girls decide they want to camp, another adult in the troop can take the girls camping.
Here's another one that I love when we get it. They say, but I don't have a daughter. And a response would be, you don't have to have a girl of your own to be a terrific leader. Which means you might not even know what a wonderful example you would be to girls out there who might not have the best role models in their own lives.
Okay, another question, my final question would be, what other questions may come up for you to answer? Well, it's okay if you don't know the answer to every question that's raised. It's okay to get back with somebody. Simply tell the caretaker that you'll have to find out the answer for them. Find out the best method for providing them with an answer to their question, email, phone, text, whatever works for them, and make sure you follow up with the caregiver as soon as you have the answer. So, in review, let's make sure we attend recruitment events with a positive attitude and speak from your heart. That's going to be your best method of sales, is to really just tell the truth about what your Girl Scout experience has been in a positive manner. So, ding! All right. Once you've answered the parents' questions, it's time to get them registered. In order to do that, you'll need to understand what the parents are experiencing during the online registration. You guys, as leaders, have probably never seen this because you're registering in a different way, re-registering rather in a different way. So let's take a look at what a new parent or new volunteer sees when they come into the registration process. So they're going to see a few different screens. They're going to enter the first screen they're going to enter basic girl or adult information. The next one is ways to participate, where they'll select their troop. The next one gives more detailed membership information, things like their address, phone number. The next one is the registration summary. and they can also add another member at that screen. Then they have a membership registration acceptance. That's a simple checkbox, and then going on to the next screen. And order summary, and finally the payment screen. So let's go over those step by step so you know exactly what folks are going to be seeing. Ding. Okay, so these are two screenshots. We've got the girl registration on the left and the adult registration on the right. When a parent or new volunteer starts their interest phase, they'll complete a girl registration or adult registration page. When they submit this information, they'll proceed to ways to participate or the get involved stage. Ding. Now, here comes the fun part, selecting a troop. On this page, parents or volunteers can search for a troop for their daughter and volunteer opportunities for themselves. If a troop is not available in their area that fits their needs, they can expand their search to nearby areas by increasing the radius or miles they're willing to travel. We talked about that a few minutes ago, that some folks want something right next door and some folks are willing to drive just a little bit to get to where they need to go. I'm also going to say at this point, it's looking for the zip code. And so the zip code, when you put the zip code in, it might be that they wanted something close to their school, their home, maybe even grandma's house. So they're going to choose the zip code that works best for them for where they're looking for a troop. It might not be where their house is. The other thing to know about zip codes is that it is pulling from the center of that zip code. And some of our zip codes are rather large. So when it says that something is within a 5-mile radius, they're talking about 5 miles from the center of that zip code, which is typically the post office in your zip code. So keep that in mind.
Also keep in mind that for those of you that are close to a tunnel and you put in the zip code, it may pull a troop that is on the other side of that tunnel. So be aware of that for those of you like in the Hampton and Norfolk areas. Even upper part of Suffolk will pull something that's in Newport News sometimes. So just keep that in mind, that sometimes it might not necessarily be right there.
And it might not be in your service unit. And that might be okay. It depends on what the family needs. So if you get through all that and they're unable to locate a troop, they can select unsure. When they select unsure, a box is going to pop up to give them the option to tell us why they're unsure. The placement team will follow up with these families to help them locate a troop that may not be in the catalog. So they can type in unable to find a troop in my area. They could type in not unable to find a time that works for me. The more information they provide in that box, the better the placement team is going to be able to help them. Not every troop is in the opportunity catalog. So when you're putting in the zip code, it's searching the opportunity catalog to find available troops. Our placement team are experts, and they'll be able to reach out to troops who aren't in the opportunity catalog for whatever reason and can help them find a troop.
If you are at the recruitment and you've already spoken to your placement coordinator and you know of some troops that have openings, but they're not popping up into the search category, you can actually try putting in their troop number right into where it says troop. Make sure you use 5 digits, so if it's 300, you'd have to punch in 00300 and then do a search. If it still does not come up, but you are sure that there is room in that troop, have the parent click unsure, and when the box pops up, tell them that they want troop 300, and you can put in other notes like approved by troop leader, because maybe the troop leader is there and for some reason she's not showing up in the opportunity catalog. So you want to make sure that you put as much information in the unsure box that helps the placement team.
Good point. So the other thing about that is a girl may arrive and she's got a friend who's in a troop, and if she knows her friend's troop number, you can do the same thing that Kim just said and type in the troop number. That'll either show you that the troop has availability or maybe it doesn't pop up. Either way, they can still do unsure, put the troop number in, and say she wants to be in Susie Hughes' troop, and the placement team will get in contact with the leader and say, hey, one of your girls has a friend who would like to join your troop. Would you be willing to open up your troop to this young lady? So, all good points. All right, at this point, parents can also choose to register as an individually registered member if they're not looking for a troop experience. So one of the boxes they can check when under the troop listing is individually registered member. That's for someone who's just not looking for that troop experience, but still wants to be a Girl Scout and participate in another way. All right, ding. All right, so this page is referred to as the membership page. On this page, we are capturing household information for both the girl or adult, and for girls, their school information and their parent information. Anything with a red asterisk is required and must be completed to move forward. Ding. All right, next we've got the registration summary. This slide shows the parent exactly what they are ordering and gives them the chance to go back and edit if they need to. They can also add other memberships at this time. So if they're in this screen and they decide they want to register a second child or register themselves, encourage them to register themselves, please. This is where they would do that. Ding. All right, this is membership registration acceptance. On this screen, parents are accepting membership by reading the Girl Scout Promise and Law and opting in or out of emails and photographs. Text as well, there's a box for that too. All right, next. This is a screen called Order Summary. It confirms the amount of the membership or memberships and gives families an opportunity to donate to Girl Scouts. Ding. And finally, we get to the payment screen. This is the payment screen. So parents will enter their credit card information on the screen. Once they hit confirm, the registration is complete. The parents will be asked to complete a brief optional survey. So if they get to this point, and notice we've not talked about financial opportunities that we have. If someone says, hey, I really can't afford this right now, we do have money available for girls to register. We notice it was not part of our presentation. It used to be. We no longer do that. We wait for them to ask us about it. A lot of parents will just stop at this point because maybe they don't want to ask. And that's okay. Our placement team's going to follow up with them and in the nicest possible way, ask them if they are interested, if they're in need of financial assistance, and they'll get them straightened out with that. Someone may come right up to you at the event and say, hey, I'm in need of financial assistance, and that's fine. Just have them stop at the payment screen, and our placement team's going to reach out to them and get them set up with that. So just know that that is an option for folks. It's not something we present right off the bat, but we do have it available. We want to make sure that every girl who wants to be a Girl Scout can be a Girl Scout.
If you have someone who has stepped up and said that they need financial assistance, and you take them all the way to the payment screen, be sure to send an email to your recruitment specialist and let them know who that child is so that they're aware and they can send the email to a task to the right team to make sure that they complete the steps for the financial assistance.
Yep. Or you can even make a note on the sign-in sheet, something like that. Just make sure that that information gets back to us at council so that we can help that family as quickly as possible. All right, let's move on to step 6, after the event. So you want to thank school personnel as well as any volunteers and girls who assisted during the recruitment event. Let's talk about the Girl Scout patch and rockers. When girls help at a recruitment event, they may receive the recruiter patch. They're welcome to work more than one event. So we ran into that pretty early. We had the recruitment patch, and then all of a sudden we had girls who were helping us more than once. So we came up with a little rocker that goes around their patch to show that they are a rock star recruiter. It's a little green patch with a gold star on it. And they can get as many of those as they want by helping us out at recruitments. Next, you'll submit the sign-in sheet to your council's recruitment specialist for follow-up. They may have additional questions or need assistance registering. After the registration is complete, the placement team will begin placing new members if they're not already placed. So if they weren't able to find a troop, this is when that process begins. Let's see. Oh, we talked about the recruiter patch already. All right, ding. Let's talk about a backup plan. Girl Scouts are always prepared, right? We want to have our backup plan. If you don't receive the turnout that you expected, or a leader who was not there for you weren't able to secure a leader for the troops that you needed, don't give up. Just plan again and try again. Think outside the box and try the following. Look at houses of worship, religious organizations, church bulletins, events, and presentations. These are great places to start with leaders and to build troops. Hang posters and post signs at area businesses or neighborhood association buildings. Recruitment booths or displays whenever people gather in your community, such as festivals, libraries, culture events, and even at grocery stores. presentations to women's clubs, businesses, and professional organizations. Work with your council staff to coordinate those. Talk to the school about hosting another recruitment night. Maybe the night you chose wasn't the best night for folks and there was a lot going on. You can try another night. Volunteer troop girls to babysit during the first PTA meeting or lead a flag ceremony in exchange for a booth at the PTA meeting. That's a great time to get in touch with parents. And girls love to do the babysitting for that. Ask the principal to join Girl Scouts as a member and host a Girl Scout lunch table during the year. That's pretty cool to be able to sit with the principal at lunch and asking him or her to do that would be awesome. Remember, our guys who are 18 and older can be Girl Scouts too. Work with your volunteer support team or neighboring service units to come up with some creative recruitment venues and plans. Ding! All right, that brings us to the end of the training. As promised, we covered these 3 items. Build a team of volunteers to help you lead your recruitment events. Research, plan, and successfully host recruitment events. Promote the experience of Girl Scouting to all girls in your area. If you have any questions at this time, please email your questions to Kim Lincoln at kiml@gsccc.org. Ding! So thank you. As a recruitment champion, you are a key player in bringing the Girl Scout experience to life for girls and adults in your area. We value and celebrate your dedication, and thank you so much for joining us as we embark on a new membership year.